Welcome back to my podcast. I'm not super consistent with this, and I always lead with this for some whatever reason. It's because I feel guilty about not producing consistently. But at the same rate, I'm also a healer, which means sometimes I have to entirely close the doors to the external world and focus on my duty in fixing the planetary energy. And it seems like nonsense, but if you follow me around for like a month or even just one day or even just 1 hour, you'll be like, okay, it makes total sense. Like, I really am out here organizing all the energy so people can come into spaces and not have a mental breakdown. Because that's how bad the energies are on planet Earth right now. And I just went through a phase like this in life of just completely like surrendering and letting Jesus take the wheel, but also my healers, like my lineages of healers and teachers that I've worked with all showed up and said, okay, this is your time to become a proper healer. Like, you've earned your stripes. It's now time to take everything onto yourself. And I think everyone kind of always trusted me in terms of psychic healing, but receiving that validation from people of just like, okay, like you have certain gifts that you've acquired, and even that validation for me is enough, because I was just writing an essay this morning during like my creative time. And what came through was that the final blockage that you have to process on your way out of the system to liberation, or even just back to yourself, or on your way to healing, is having a career. And the people I aspire to, the people that I want to be like, do not have traditional careers. They're either healers, they're either professionals, investors. They don't have traditional career paths, or they're artists, or they're designers, whatever that may be. I just feel like for me, it's so scary being so young and having that much mental potential and that much power and that much creativity, when people see me and they're like, oh, okay, you're just an Instagram girl. You know, it's like you aren't us because we're old. Like, that doesn't make sense to me anymore. And truthfully, it never really did make sense to me. But I think the wisdom here is to just do whatever you want. Like, honestly, do whatever you want and whatever spirit calls you to do, because spirit is creating something that will shock everybody and prove your worth in a way that you can never imagine. And I kind of had to trust that my whole life, because I was really in this same room that I've like reordered and purified and like reorganized maybe a million times. Is all of that work behind the scenes, especially if you're a healer, the crying, the grief, this and that. It's not about having a career. It's not about, oh, I'm a healer. It's not about the career. It's about honestly feeling amazing as a human being. It's about waking up and like genuinely feeling like I'm in a luxury hotel every single morning because of the hard work that I did for spirit. And spirit will reward you. If you walk that path and you work for spirit, spirit will reward you to the point where everything is so aesthetic, so perfect, so organized. Your art is that good, that flawless. You won't even be looking for money. You won't be looking for validation. You won't be looking for friend groups aside from the people who actually call you and actually show up for you. And it's like, what are you really saying here, Liz? It's like, really, it's a free-for-all. Like, I think the time and space that we're entering as human beings, as a species, is really, it's just all a free-for-all. It truly is a free-for-all, aside from the individual spiritual destiny that you have to follow and those footsteps that you have to follow. And sometimes I like look at everyone else and I'm like, everyone else is doing the right thing. Like, what am I doing? And that's how they trapped you. That's how you were trapped to think that the path that you walk is the wrong one. Because, and this is like, I feel like I shouldn't be talking about this, but I feel that I have a duty to discuss this. There's a lot of witchcraft in America. There's a lot of people trapped in their own minds. There are a lot of people being controlled. And psychologically, we only have two words for it: narcissism or psychopathy. And the truth is that these practices have been around for a very, very, very long time, and they've only become more powerful and more prevalent in society. It's easy to say, oh, they're a psychopath. You know what's hard? To go out there and fight your battle, to take your power back, and to say, no, that's enough. And that has to happen on an individual family level. That's the first step in personal healing. I'm not subscribing to your practices, to your lineage. I'm going to follow my own lineage. I'm going to follow my heart. And the next step is also to confront that in society. Like, you don't have to be a revolutionary unless you want to be. But at the same time, in certain spaces, especially in corporate spaces, there's a lot of black magic, there's a lot of witchcraft, and there's a lot of nasty behavior, particularly among women and very jealous men. So I just don't see people discussing this at all. And this has been a constant theme in my life for maybe 5 years. Constant theme of, why am I so weak? Why am I crying? Why am I so emotional, right? It's because you're a victim of darker magic, and they want you to think that you're crazy. They gaslight you into thinking you're crazy because you see the truth and you see the wisdom and you're willing to confront it. And that's kind of what's happening collectively. I think a lot of people have been living in these systems, and they're fed up with it. They cannot take it anymore to see another young person mentally breaking down or crumbling for no reason at all, aside from someone being mentally ill. It's gotten to this place where higher level people are stepping up to the plate as well as healers, and are reinforcing a newer system of forcing people to heal rather than to do these sorts of things and to create this sort of conflict. And another theme that I'm noticing as like, this is like more advanced spiritual healing, psychic healing stuff that honestly people are like, oh, it's because you're gifted. Like, I had to unlock every single level of psychic healing through meditation, through very, very difficult, almost near-death experiences. And it is not easy. This is not easy work. And I want people to know that it's like, oh, you just say you're a healer because you drink herbal tea. Like, that's just not the case. It's a very hard position. It's a very hard job. And I never, ever step away from the plate. Like if anyone's going to be standing at the end with like a bat, it's going to be me and a couple of other healers. So I just want people to know how hard it has been for me personally. And I don't talk about this. I don't talk about what brought me to meditation, to spiritual healing. And I think it was really just not having a future. Like, I didn't see a future for myself at all. At age 20, I did a future projection. I did a future projection meditation, and I was doing shamanic drumming work at this time as well. Because I don't know, I was called to it. Because I have Siberian roots. Like, my family has Siberian roots, and some of the best shamans in the world are Siberian. So I was connecting to that lineage, and it was a lot of drumming techniques, and it was also a lot of breathing techniques, and also a lot of darkness therapy. So I was connecting to those practices because I truly felt that Christianity was not there for me at that level of consciousness. Christianity comes when you're mid-level, higher level consciousness. But when you're here, I would recommend drumming techniques. I would recommend breath work. I would recommend plant medicines. So I turned to all of those things when I was like, oh my God, I don't know what this is. I feel like I'm going insane. Nobody has an answer for me. They're just going to give me a label, a disorder. So I said, let me get involved with the ceremony space. Let me get involved with the yoga class space, the art space. So I did. And this is where it starts to get very interesting. When you're in that space, you start to notice like, holy shit, like this is a lot of satanic cult practices. And the art world is a lot like that. And I think it really messed us up because then we became afraid of art. And art became a place of ritual magic and a community that is basically doing a lot of damage and destruction. And the same thing happened in the healing space, unfortunately, in the new age space. So that's when we're like here, we're rising up the ladder, right, in states of consciousness. And then we hit all of these realizations and we're like, oh my God, you have an existential crisis. You have an identity crisis because you're like, wait, but I'm a good person, but I'm also a good artist. And I'm also a very good healer. And then comes Jesus Christ. And that's how it was for me. So I was doing all this yoga work. I became a yoga teacher. And I basically had a vision of the Holy Spirit and Jesus Christ coming down. And I got emotional, and I was in my grandmother's house. My grandma has plants all over, like 2 cats. I'm like, Grandma, I just saw Jesus Christ. She's like, oh my God, that never happened to me. That my grandmother's a really good healer. She was like, oh, this has never happened to me. Like that's very interesting. She's like, I don't see anything in my third eye. And I think that's really when my third eye started to open. It's when Jesus Christ came down. It was first it was a dove as the Holy Spirit. And then it was the face of Jesus Christ. And then of course I walked to him. I was like, what's up? Like what are you doing here? And basically I just felt like this overwhelming outpouring of love and healing. And I knew that that's when my life was going to change forever, because I had been reading these Russian prayers at night because my mental health was not good. I was being attacked by witches left and right. And I feel like I have the authority to say this now, so I'm going to spread this wisdom. I was being attacked left and right, left and right, left and right. Like in the tea, in my car was being attacked. I was being attacked mentally all day long. People were stealing my power. People were switching my energies. People were switching my rooms. I didn't even know I had a psychic room. It's like, it was really bad. So I was reading these Russian prayers at night, and my ex-boyfriend at the time was like, oh, what do you do? Like, what are you doing? And I was reading these Russian Orthodox prayers consistently. And I think we went out that night. We went to a party or something. And then the next day I woke up and Jesus came. and I was like, oh, like finally. I was like, finally you came to show me the way out of this, because I'm ignorant. That's a very ignorant thing to do and say it. And I'm well aware of that, you know? Like that's just where I was at the time. I was ignorant. Trust me. I know this. And then basically I just kept connecting to Jesus Christ, and my mind started to really make connections about the situation that I was in and the situations that a lot of other people were in. Like my neighborhood has a lot of haunted energies, and I had been picking up on it my whole entire life. And of course no one is going to tell me, you're right, your psychic gifts aren't lying, your intuition isn't lying, because everybody around me was dark. Of course they want you to think you're crazy because you're about to reveal them for who they are, you know? And I do a lot of my work when I travel. Like I travel to California, I travel to Miami, I travel to St. Petersburg, I travel to Tulum. I travel to these places to get a better understanding of where I was in life. And those processes were very successful. I connected to very, very, very good, powerful healers in every single one of those places. Like, I was smart enough to go to psychics in every location. I went to a psychic in Malibu. I went to a psychic in Woodstock. I went to a healer in Tulum. I went to a cacao ceremony in Tulum. I've been to like 3 or 4 healers in Brooklyn, because I don't trust any one person at all. It's not smart. So I got a lot of different holistic, I had a yoga guru in Florida. My guru is actually Muji. Like Muji is really the guru that I work with. And I was watching Muji videos all day long. And I broke through. I finally broke through out of everything, and then I found a really, really beautiful healer near me who just kind of took, like, what is that thing that hits the wheat down? A sickle. she just went in like a wildfire and just started to basically show me like this was not your mental health. This was not your mind. This was, first of all, your journey towards becoming a healer, a psychic healer, but also your journey of not doubting your sanity. And that's a traditional shamanic path. All of these things that I just explained is the shamanic path. And I read a bunch of shamanic books, like I read Carl Jung's perspective on shamanism. And I was honestly learning a lot from like Reddit people. But truly, I was being led by spirit. I was being led by spirit 100%. And I never doubted spirit because I have a very luxurious lifestyle. Like, why would I doubt spirit if all of my needs are met? Like, my health is good, my relationships are good, my connection to spirit is good, and I'm constantly surrounded by these crazy experiences. Why would I ever doubt spirit then? So I've been kind of walking that path for, I wouldn't say it was my whole life, but at least, I think I watched a vegetarian documentary when I was in high school, and I became, not even vegetarian, became vegan, but it was also connected to an eating disorder, of course. And I was vegan for a while, and then that really started to open up my spiritual centers as well. And then from there, I kind of just started philosophizing, really understanding the universe, understanding the world. I started attending yoga classes. Like, fitness really opens my mind to certain perspectives as well. And that put me on a different path of an artist. The artistic path came a little later because honestly, I had zero skills. I had no skills as an artist. I couldn't read. I couldn't even do anything. So like around 20, I was like, I knew I had an artistic perspective, but I had zero skills. So I just started writing, consuming information, going to libraries, going to museums, watching how other people work. And that was enough for me. I said, if my life is this beautiful, this rich with just information and artwork and just doing the bare minimum and existing as a person, I said, this is enough for me. I don't need a relationship. I don't need to be traveling. I don't need to be doing, because this, I live in New York City. I'm blessed with that. So that kind of also made me realize, like, people are overdoing it. Like, all of you are overdoing this whole experience. It's not about power. It's not about control. It's about love. And it's about purification, and it's about healing and grounding. And this elemental grid that I kind of tapped into, I was doing a lot of, well, actually, when I was living in Brooklyn, this was when I was in college as well, I started to work with the elements, and I started to work with the subconscious elemental directions. So it was east, air, south, fire, water, earth. And I would start balancing my energies. I'm doing this because I'm unbalanced here. I started balancing myself with the elements in my subconscious mind. And that's when my meditation took off. My meditation took off. Then I read a book called Ascension Magic, and it was very descriptive about all the different angels, Merkaba activation, and pillars of light, energy healing, herbalism. Essentially, it had like everything in there. So I read those two. I read two books that like really, these were books you consume when you're like a very advanced psychic healer. But I was called to them. I was definitely called to them. I wouldn't pick up any book that I felt was dark, demonic, or satanic. So I picked them up, I took them, I read them. I think I still have, I have both of them here. And that's when I started to work with psychic energies. So I kind of left everything because I had an unpleasant mental experience that was not necessarily due to my spiritual journey or my artistic journey, but it scared me enough to be like, okay, I'm doing the wrong thing. Basically, they don't want you doing psychic work because you'll see the truth in. That's really what the problem is. And I was getting way too close to seeing the truth, so then some darker forces intervened. And that's exactly when God intervened as well. This is how it goes for shamans. This is exactly how it goes for shamans. Then God intervened, and then nature intervened. And that's it. I was a healer forever. After that, that was it. I left the whole system. I walked to the path, foot by foot, to every place I wanted to go to, which happened to be very luxurious, thank God. And I still walk that same path every single day. I've added some integrations and I've removed some elements. And that's kind of what I want to discuss now. Basically, when you find Jesus, you're going to feel like everything else you've done in your life was wrong. And that's a normal response. Because what Jesus does is he gives you a new identity to live with. And your job is to take your past identity, to do the healing work and bring it up to your new identity. And it's a lot of going down and coming back. In shamanism, it's called soul retrieval. So you go down, figure it out, come back up. You go down, you figure it out, you come back up. So I was doing that for 3 years, and it's honestly a beautiful, addictive process. All of your neurotransmitters are active, and your heart, every time you go down and come back up, your heart expands to a place where you just feel ecstatic. Like you feel genuinely amazing. Like I've never felt better in my life than the day after you do very heavy healing work, or even the hour after you do like a very healing ceremony. So I was doing that for a while, and I still do that, but the Christianity started to mess with my mind a little bit as a shaman. And that's kind of what I want to discuss more here, because there are a lot of people who are discovering Jesus Christ, but they come from different schools of thought and they come from different philosophical systems. And that integration process is very difficult. It's like a switchboard. It's like a very drastic switchboard, and it can cause a lot of mental disturbances for sure. So when you work with the energy of Jesus Christ, you have to eliminate the whole Catholic structure. So you have to completely eliminate that whole structure, because that structure will not sustain you as a healer. It will only limit you. It will make you feel small. It will make you feel that you need to turn to somebody else to find healing. And I disagree with that entirely. The school of thought that I believe in is purely energetic. It's levels of consciousness, levels of vibration, and basically using your vessel, your body, to transmute to higher vibrations as much as possible through the guidance of spirit. And then also with all of that, when it comes online, when everything's aligned and intact, then you go outside and you do your material job, you do your material work. That's how it's been for me personally. I recently went through a process of I was feeling a lot of judgment and shame for being a healer, for studying I've probably studied every school of spirituality and psychology besides the satanic cults. Thank God. I never felt the desire to read that text or to even turn to any of their practices. And that's where I want to draw a firm boundary between healing and witchcraft. The difference between healing and witchcraft is healers turn to nature, they turn to the elements. Even Christian healers, they turn to the elements, but they do not use those elements to create spells and destroy people's minds, bodies, spirits. Because that's what witches do. Witches use the elements for destruction. Healers use the elements for creation. And I want to really make sure that if you're practicing any of these things, that your intention is co-creation with the highest power in the universe. Otherwise, you can get trapped anywhere. But if you keep that intention, trust me, you'll get trapped for 1 day, but you'll get out of it easy. It's not a big deal. But the second you give your mental power down here, you're done. You truly are done. And it's not something that should be taken lightly. It's a very, very serious thing that can happen to you. And I've seen people, I don't know how they have these great jobs and like this great lifestyle. They completely do not belong to themselves. They completely belong to darker forces. And basically there's no treatment for that in our system. You're either called a psychopath or a narcissist, and you just live with it. And I'm not saying that I feel bad for these individuals at all. I do not feel bad for these individuals. I'm trying to teach people how to avoid them. So if you're a healer and you're starting to see all of this stuff in the world, your third eye is coming online, you're seeing this, you're seeing that, you have spirits coming to you, be very, very, very careful to keep your intention in your heart strong and your feet in the earth. And also know that at any moment you can turn off your psychic capabilities. The same way we have power over our minds, and that's something that I learned in yoga. Your mind does not control you. Your mind does not control you. You control your mind. The level above that is you control your psychic abilities. If I'm annoyed by what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing, I will just turn everything off and go to the mall. Like, I'm known to do this. I really am known to, like everyone's annoying me. The world is annoying. I'm gonna go get a pedicure. Like, it's okay to do that as well. And that's the balance between the spiritual world and the material world. So those are some tips that I wish I knew earlier, because I was really like locked into this, like constantly fighting. Give all of this work to spirit. Spirit will figure out which people to bring to you to heal you and to also advise you and bring you information. So I don't know who that helps, but that's like the very advanced spiritual stuff that I went through. And it was very, very organized. Spirit did a really good job at keeping everything very organized in categories. Like I said, the only thing that tripped me up was Jesus Christ. Because I was like, all right. Like, I'm obviously, like, you know, I'm not at his level of healing, but at the same rate, like, you know what I always ask? Like, if Jesus Christ was around today, would he want me to be a Reiki healer? Yeah. I truly feel that he would. If Jesus Christ was around, would he want me to be doing all this psychic healing work? Yes, because I'm being guided by Jesus Christ. So the church placed this doctrine in your brain, and this is where there's a difference between indigenous peoples and the Catholic Church or the Christian Church. You are a healer, you are connected to the earth, and you have the right to do healing work on yourself. In fact, at the end of the game, when you are on your deathbed, you're the only person with those healing rights to liberate your spirit. So whatever they say about you need to go to this person and that person, you don't need to go to anyone, but spirit may guide you to certain people to reveal your healing power to yourself. And that's the one belief that I would change, because it's really disempowering to have to rely on other people just to be alive. And I think that's the system that we've created for ourselves. And it's like, I need my husband to be alive. I need drugs to be alive. I need this healer. I need this therapist to be alive. Like, rise up. Like, it's time to walk up the steps and sit outside by yourself and to heal yourself and to see that these people are advisors, they're allies, they're here to help you. So just know that you are the locus of your life. You're the center of your life. Everything is moving around you. The way you do laundry, the way you do dishes, the way you do a podcast, the way you create a piece of artwork, the way you create anything at all, you're the center of it. And some characters will come into your life and say, like, I'm here and you're here. I'm here and you're... And every time that happens, I'm like, no, you're not. I'm like, of course you're not, because this is my life. So when you have characters like this, like I definitely have like narcissistic family members, and the answer is to transcend their power dynamic that they're trying to impart on you. And if you go to a psychic healer, they're going to tell you have attachment cords to them. You have energetic cords attached to them, right? So you're definitely going to want to cut those cords, but also know that the second you cut those cords, you're going to have an identity crisis. So cord cutting is very serious. It's not, I mean, I do it like it's nothing because I'm strong enough in myself, but cord cutting is very, very serious work. Like if you're cutting cords with someone who had a lot of power over you, just know that you're going to feel very down for a while. You're not going to know who you are. You're not going to know your purpose in the world. It's very difficult identity work. And that's what another thing I want to discuss. Identity work is excruciating. It's honestly excruciating because identity work is also timeline work. Identity work is also emotional healing work. Identity work is also systems of control work. So if you're in a transitional phase in life, divorced, lost a job, you're an artist and you lost your flow, you lost that direction, you lost that inner fight to challenge society, to challenge the world, you're in a process of pretty heavy healing, identity healing work. And identity healing work, it starts with you questioning if you're doing the right thing, if these people are right for you, if God is guiding you or other forces are guiding you. And these are important questions to ask, and you're going to have to answer all of them before you find a new identity. So I go through these phases all the time. I'm always recreating a new identity for myself and how I want to exist in the world to other people. And of course, we have a lot of different dimensions, right? So identity work also takes all of your different like personality traits, your different stages of development, your different talents, your different abilities. And identity work is like, it's like going like this and seeing where the dust settles. That's how I see it. but with that intention of connecting to the highest power in the universe. So what I do, I'm going to tell you what I do. This is risky. I don't advise people who are just beginning identity work to do this at all. I totally step away from everything. Close the social media door, close the material door, close all locations, New York, Miami, blah, 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 blah. I turn off all global energy and I just sit with my mind. I sit with my heart and I let the realizations and the healing flow in. I've been using some herbal remedies like rhodiola. I work with blue lotus. I work with rose a lot. I work with a few other things, cacao. And these I'm not like a ayahuasca person. Not that I have any judgment. I just haven't felt the direct call to it. But I do work with these other herbs that do have psychoactive properties. They do shift your mental structures, but not to a level where it's a complete, quantum leap. Like they take certain specific structures and you feel discomfort, but you also feel the relief of the counterbalancing of a certain other medicine. So if you're new to plant medicine, I think start with things that aren't psychoactive, like just eating healthy, eating plants and vegetables. Like I said, I went vegan in high school. Like this is not a joke. Like I was put on this path to first start with the plants, the vegetables, and then I integrated different other psychoactive things. Like it's not, you don't just go right to that, like if you have a very unhealthy lifestyle. I do not recommend this at all. I recommend doing a lot of self-development, reading a lot of books, constantly reading a lot of books, going into healing spaces for 1 year before even thinking about like psychoactive plant medicines. Cacao and blue lotus, you can integrate because they can help you to heal things without too much of a mental or spiritual impact. And then what else? Oh, I was talking about the different dimensions of personality. So in times of crisis, I turn to my inner child. And I think a lot of people do this because it's like that's when you were most if that's when you're most traumatized, that's where you're going to turn in a time of most crisis. So I noticed that when I was these last 4 months when I was going through a very heavy, it wasn't even necessarily a purification, it was really up leveling as a healer. And of course I took it on like it's nothing because I've been doing that my whole life, but it was a true up leveling as a healer. And I had to go through certain barriers. I had to learn certain new capabilities to transcend to a different level. And I noticed in myself that I reverted to like a middle school child. Like I was really like not necessarily behaving like a child, but I was like talking like a child. I was like, when I was little I would only eat junk food. Like I did not want healthy food. I didn't eat cucumbers, and I've been eating junk food for like maybe 4 months. And now I'm noticing like, okay, that was a natural mechanism. That was a coping mechanism that I kind of outgrew. But at the same time, there was a time and place where that was necessary because I didn't have the energy to be all of this perfection that I've, created as an adult. So if you're going through that kind of like period of crisis as a healer, and this is really a message for healers, this is not for your average person, because of course you're more integrated in society and they will call you crazy. So basically if this is for healers only, like if you're truly on a healer path, Kundalini awakening, like you've been on the path for a while, that this is reserved for you people. Like when you revert to those certain coping mechanisms and toxic traits, there's a reason for that. And your mind is smarter than you. So leaning into that a little bit, like, yes, I was eating chicken sandwiches for like 4 months, but at the same time, I'm here now and my brain health is perfect, right? So when you're going down to do soul retrievals, when you're going down to discover certain past timelines, even past lifetimes where your soul has been trapped, you're going to revert to toxic habits. You're going to revert to some coping mechanisms. And thank God for me, it was cursing a lot and eating like really bad food. Like it wasn't that bad, but I know that people are on a similar path and they struggle with drug addiction or like certain other like antisocial behaviors that, are dangerous. So obviously have that boundary in mind. Like there are certain doors that remain closed at all times, but also it's okay to let yourself go a little bit because you're healing. You're in a healing process. And when people are like, oh, you got fat, you're acting crazy, I'm like, yeah, okay, give me 1 month. Give me 1 month. Just give me 1 month. Step aside. If I'm embarrassing to you, if I make you uncomfortable, that's okay. I understand. This is my healing process. So I give myself that level of respect. I give myself that level of sovereignty to make those decisions in my life. And that's what it takes to be a true shaman. Like you're not walking this path to fit in with people and to accept people's judgments of who you are. That's not why you were called to this path. You were called onto this path to heal your spirit and to heal humanity, like to literally heal humanity, to bring in something that will last forever, to fix the energies. Fixing energies is not a small job. Fixing energies requires a lot of psychic skill, mental skill, a certain lifestyle. It's truly a devotional path. So when I hear those judgments about me, like, oh, she's not as pretty as like these people on Instagram, like I wish you look like this, like you could lose a few pounds. For what? For what exactly? What is the goal aside from everything that I'm doing, which is an abundance of resources, an abundance of spiritual energy, an abundance of fashion, an abundance of art, an abundance of life itself? what am I really, why do I have to lose a few pounds? It just, for me, it doesn't necessarily equate. And this is something I want to bring light on, because that conditioning of being a woman or a sexy woman or a woman eligible for marriage is destroying a lot of women. Like, okay, they're not going to marry you, but you're going to have the fullest lifestyle you can imagine. Like, yeah, it's definitely an opportunity cost, but I'll take the loss. I will take the loss. Every time I have taken the loss to walk this path. So if someone is jeopardizing your dignity as a human being, they're jeopardizing your dignity as a healer. Because your dignity as a healer is foundationally based on your dignity as a human being. Which is why, like, if you notice my room, like, there's a lot of Christian stuff. Like, I have a whole little area. It's all Christian stuff and the Bible. And it's like, yeah, I'm Christian. Like, I do walk this path, but I'm also a healer. Like, I'm also very cool. Like, I'm a fun person. People sometimes take that like, oh, she's cool and fun. That means she has no boundaries and she's gonna accept this lifestyle. She's gonna accept cheating. She's gonna accept me doing whatever. Like, Christians are very cool people. Like, some of the coolest people I've ever met in my life were Christians. And sorry, I have like allergies and a sore throat. Like, on the flip side of that, some of the most boring, most annoying people I ever met do witchcraft. So I just wanted to make that distinction, that healers are the coolest people I've ever met in my life, which is why I became a healer. Like, healers are literally the coolest. Like, you could sit with them and they're just like, yeah, everything is okay. You're perfect. Like, your nature itself. Like, healers are the coolest people I've ever met in my life. And that is going to shift a lot of perspectives, because it's like, okay, if we make healing cool, which is what I'm doing. That's my whole initiative. Make healing cool, make healing hot, make healing like amazing, right? The peak of society itself should be healing. And it's going to become that way. Because for so long, the peak of society has been wealth and power, right? Here's healing, here's wealth and power. So many people in society are here, wealth and power, wealth and power. Healers are here. Healers are stacked up here. And the higher you go over wealth and power towards spiritual entry, I'm not saying that you don't have assets, you don't have resources, you don't have investments, you don't have a company. I'm saying you're not overly attached to it, because these people are so attached to it that it controls their brain. So rising above wealth and power, you have the seekers, the travelers, the hippies, the nomads, and, you know, very, very advanced psychic healers. They're able to go here. They go up and down like this all day long. All day long. Oh, there you go. I found it again. There you go. They don't get lost. They never get lost. So I think creating this new framework and direction for humanity is very important. Like, a lot of celebrities have turned to healing paths, towards spiritual healing paths, towards they're having their own spiritual awakenings. And what the system did was label spiritual awakening as a mental breakdown. And of course it did that to keep you in the system. So what healers do is say, okay, it might be a mental breakdown. You're having an experience of craziness, but you're not crazy. You're in a healing process. And I think that is a perspective that is starting to shift, because people want the healing faster. I'm so sorry. And they want really effective strategies. So if you want effective strategies, of course, find a therapist, but find an excellent healer as well. Find 4 excellent healers as well. And then you will start to see the path that your spirit is trying to take you on. Okay, I'm going to stop here because I have to go cough. I'm like coughing so much. But thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have any questions, you can ask me directly, or you can put it in the comment section. And I would like to hear like people's thoughts about like what books, what methods, what strategies have worked for you. And yeah, that's kind of the conversation that I've been wanting to have for a while, but I felt like a lot of topics were so taboo that I needed to have a lot of footing and grounding before even vocalizing them. But I do now because I've done all that identity work, and I've integrated Jesus, I've integrated Christianity into my purpose as an energy healer, as an elemental healer. So it's all very balanced and integrated now, and I want to tell you that you can get to that place yourself. You can get to that place. Like, you know, those people, they're just smiling, they're glowing, like they have the best outfit, they have the best friends, they have the best partner, their child looks like a little doll. Like, you can have that. You can 100% have that if you follow the path of God, if you follow the path of Christ, not necessarily Christ. Like, Ganesha has been one of my like best friends, like since for a long time. Ganesha is one of my people. Like, I work with very, very good, beautiful deities. And if you feel like you don't necessarily connect to any one of them, just connect to nature, connect to spirit, and you'll kind of start to figure it out. I don't know if that helps anyone, but that's it.